Is the Orville too much Star Trek? Could CBS file a lawsuit like they did against Axanar? If you're new here, welcome to my channel, and if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell icon to get notified every time I upload a new video. I know the Orville is a love letter to Star Trek by Seth Macfarlane, but do you feel that if CBS went after Axanar, should they also go after the Orville? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a fan of Axanar and I know they went overboard with the monetization, but let's talk about the Orville. It turns out Seth Macfarlane's Orville series is less Star Trek spoof than was portrayed in the show's trailer, and similarities may become problematic for Seth Macfarlane and the Orville. CBS filed a lawsuit against the Axanar production and shut it down. As a consequence, the fan community got fan film guidelines courtesy of Paramount and CBS. And if you watched the trailer for the Orville and thought it appears to be a spoof of Star Trek, you weren't alone. However, it turns out that Orville is far from a spoof. After watching the pilot episode of the Orville, it seems that while it's clearly heavily derivated of Star Trek, it's a series intended to stand on its own feet, but with all the similarities and homages to Trek, we need to ask ourselves how far can they push it. They referenced Archer's Beagle. The scientist from the planet had a uniform which differed from Archer's just by the color scheme and the fact that it was a coat type and not just a jumpsuit like on the Enterprise. It also appears that virtually every joke in the pilot was stripped out and inserted in the trailer, essentially to frame it as a spoof, but was it enough? To quote Macfarlane, if this were a half hour it would be kind of cut and dry, but this is, because we're an hour-long show, the story kind of has to come first. It can't just be gag. There has to be some reality to where the comedy comes from. We really do see it as a sci-fi comedy drama. We allow ourselves room for levity in the way that a traditional sci-fi show doesn't. We're trying to break new ground here. Macfarlane intends this to be a show that can coexist alongside Star Trek, particularly the Discovery, which is set to debut in about 10 days. This is his effort to strike back at the dystopian future typically envisioned in modern science fiction, but does he lose a very big part of what makes Trek great? And where are the social allegories and the social commentary? Maybe they will come down the road. It's also interesting to know that the Orville was sold as a comedy, and now we have the first episode. It looks like the humor was pretty much forced in. It doesn't come organically motivated from the scene, but rather feels like a mix between TNG and Family Guy, and far from Macfarlane's statement that the humor will be organic. Did you like the humor, or do you think it was just tacked on? The problem for Macfarlane is, what if CBS sees a threat to Star Trek Discovery in the Orville and decides to go after it like it did with Axanar? Spoofs, comedy and commentary are protected by fair use, but as we saw in the pilot, there are just some comedy beats that were forcefully inserted in the 1 hour long episode. Could it be that Macfarlane, a long-time fan who also had a cameo with a line on Star Trek Enterprise, wanted so hard to make a Star Trek show that he inadvertently created a possible conflict between Fox and CBS? If we go by the reactions to the Orville's pilot, it seems they were pretty mixed. Some Trek fans wanted it so much to be good that they convinced themselves that it is, despite Orville having major identity problems, not knowing if it's a comedy or kinda light serious sci-fi show. What do you think about the Orville? Did you like the pilot? What about the comedy or the drama? Please share it with me in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. Don't forget to check out some of my other videos. Thank you for watching. I see you in the next video. I want to, 3.